disappeared in these woods 6 years ago. I never found the body.
Just hearing the title sends shivers down your spine. If you've ever been unfortunate, as I have, to see all the previous movies, you know what lies ahead: fear and gruesome violence. Today, we're telling you everything about the new Wrong Turn. Released on January 26, 2021 by Saban Films, Wrong Turn is known as Wrong Turn: The Foundation. It is a horror movie directed by Mike P. Nelson and an international co-production between the US, Canada, and Germany. It's written by Alan McElroy. This film is an exciting new reboot of the Wrong Turn film series. Charlotte Vega plays the lead as Jennifer Jen Shaw. Her co-stars are Adain Bradley playing Darius Clemens, Emma Dumont as Mila D'Angelo, Dylan McTee as Adam Lucas, and Bill Sage as Venable. There's a clear difference between the revival and the past Wrong Turn films. The new one does not focus on a bunch of cannibal mountain men preying on a group of friends. The new one is a bit different, much more modern. It starts with a group of friends from New Jersey who set out on an adventure. The main character is a girl called Jen Shaw. Her boyfriend is Darius, and the other couples are Gary and Lewis and Adam and Mila. Together, they travel to rural Virginia, into a small town that seems a little off. Small towns are bad news in movies, aren't they? But these couples aren't too bothered, wanting to hike the Appalachian Trail. The man named Nate and other residents of this town warn them about this trail. They aren't exactly friendly to this group of friends either. Before the start of their hike, Jen runs into a strange woman called Edith and a girl called Ruthie who's mute. Wrong Turn never plays games. Characters die early in the movie. After hiking for several hours, disaster strikes. Poor Gary is flattened by a tree trunk and dies on the spot. Even though the group is upset and lost, they don't turn back and decide to set up camp for the evening. Gee, thanks guys. The rest of the group who are still alive wake up in the morning, but something is wrong. Dear sweet Mila is missing. What else is missing is all their cell phones. So much for Google Maps. These youngsters struggle on. They discover an old plaque dating back to 1859. It commemorates the founding of a group of settlers called the Foundation. They've lived in the mountains believing that the end of the United States is near. Creepy, right? Adam searches for his beloved Mila, and boom, he's caught in a trap. The rest of the group watches on as Adam is tied to a pole and taken away by two men in primitive clothing. They're wearing deer skin and elk skulls. Sounds like fun. The dream vacation, right? Adam doesn't take nonsense and stands up for himself. He confronts these two men, killing one of them with an elk skull. Suddenly, Mila is there at her hero boyfriend's side. She explains to him that she has been hiding from these horrible men while taking a bathroom break in the bushes. The group reunites, ready to get the heck out of this awful forest, but wait, their nightmare is far from over. They're surrounded by more animal-masked men. These men are speaking in a language that the group of friends doesn't understand. The group starts running for their lives. Mila tries to keep up with Adam, but unfortunately falls into a pit. Inside the pit are sharp tree branches that immediately impale her. Ouch. Darius, Jen, and Lewis find a barn full of clothing and backpacks. Adam sees his girlfriend dead in the pit with an arrow inside of her. He quickly moves on. So, who's left at this point? It's Adam, Jen, Darius, and Lewis, but they all get captured. They're taken deep into the forest to a primitive settlement. They're charged with murder in front of a court. Guess who's part of this foundation? Edith and Ruth, the two people Jen has met the day before. Edith is one of the cultists who lure innocent people in. The leader of this foundation is called Venable. The brother of the man Adam has killed is called Morgan. Morgan testified that Adam had brutally murdered his brother Samuel. He also clears his name by saying that he has killed Mila to end her suffering from being impaled. He sentences Adam to death for killing a foundation member. The rest of the group are all accountable for this crime against the foundation. Jen, Darius, and Lewis, on the other hand, are sentenced to darkness. Adam is enraged. He breaks free and takes little Ruthie hostage. He tells Venable that his friends have to be released or he's going to kill Ruthie. Ruthie takes out a knife and stabs Adam in the leg. Adam's death sentence is a gruesome one, like you would expect. He gets bludgeoned to death by Venable with the log that Adam has used to kill Samuel. Adam's brains and skull are scattered all over the place. Lewis is frightened. He tries to escape, but Venable is too fast for him. Searing Lewis's eyes shut, shut with a hot poker, leaving him blind. Jen doesn't want to befall the same fate, so she asks Venable to spare her and Darius. Jen tells him that they can help Venable and his community. What's the price of their survival, though? Jen has to marry Venable. After 6 weeks missing, Jen's father, Scott Shaw, is searching for his daughter. He arrives in the small town nearby. The motel owner gives Scott important information on his daughter's whereabouts. Scott knows what he must do. He must go into the forest to save Jen. So he's accompanied by a local tracker heading into the forest. The tracker and his son are both killed by a trap, but Scott ventures on, determined to complete his mission. What father wouldn't do this for their kid? Scott finally finds the settlement, but he's surrounded by the residents. Unfortunately, Jen doesn't seem to care for her dad and shoots him with an arrow. But luckily, Scott isn't dead. But Venable, who is Jen's husband, sends his new father-in-law to darkness for trespassing. Jen decides to free her father by quietly sneaking out that night. She tells her dad that she shot him in order to protect them both. Scott and Jen escape together but run into Darius, Jen's old lover. Darius enjoys his stay at the settlement and doesn't want to leave. Jen leaves him behind because she doesn't have time for losers. She then encounters Ruthie, who helps her escape before anyone sees her. Jen and her dad aren't in the clear though. A cultist is after them, but they kill him. Jen discovers an underground chamber full of prisoners that have been blinded, including Lewis. She can't stand to see him in such agony and shoots him in the head. On their way out, Jen and Scott kill as many cultists as they can, including Edith. The townsman, Nate, and his buddies arrive to help Jen and her dad fight off the cultists. Jen and her dad are finally free, driving off with Venable looking at them from a distance. Jen and her dad return to their lives back at home. Months later, Jen decides to visit her stepmom, only to discover Venable and Ruthie popping in to say hello. Jen is furious and confronts Venable. He notices that Jen is pregnant with his baby. He wants her to return with him to their settlement where she belongs. She doesn't want to go, but fearing what might happen to her family if she doesn't go, she drives off with Venable and Ruthie in an RV. 3 other cultists are in there with them. All of a sudden, the RV loses control and smashes into a parked car. 2 of the cultists are killed. Jen rushes out of the door and stabs Venable to death. She makes sure that the other cultist in the RV is dead by killing him with her knife. Wow, I know what her next profession should be: an assassin. The movie has a relatively happy ending, where Jen and Ruthie hold hands, leaving behind their terrible experiences. Wrong Turn 2021 has received mixed to positive reviews. This movie is praised for its performances and production values. It is also regarded as the best wrong turn movie in the franchise. Some do, however, give negative reviews on the film's narrative, screenplay, and underdeveloped characters. On Rotten Tomatoes, Wrong Turn has an approval rating of 65% based on 62 reviews. This movie has a total of 5.9 out of 10. This is what Nick Allen from RogerEbert.com has to say about this movie. McElroy and Nelson evolve Wrong Turn into a bizarre, winding odyssey, albeit with a lot more on its mind than just a cool kill. And I couldn't have said it better myself. There's a hint at a sequel if you take that a lot of the other cultists at the Foundation haven't been killed. Jen is also pregnant with Venable's child, and there's still more stories to be told. Legacy sequels are a thing. If you're a fan of horror and gore, you might just get lucky with a sequel. Tell us down below how you feel about it. Thanks for watching, subscribe to our channel, like the video, and leave us a comment.